high-frequency stereophonic sound for the home is recorded on 2 separate tracks, each one giving special emphasis to certain sections of the orchestra, as heard from those positions. Now, when played back simultaneously on 2 separate systems, the sounds are blended together to achieve a new dimension in sound, impossible to obtain in a monaural recording.
need a lot of paraphernalia in your trade.
Yeah, cymbals, chimp, bongo, tambourine.
What are these things?
Oh, these are claves.
What are they for?
Set a rhythm for the Latin American stuff. Here, let me show you. See? Very simple.
Indeed. Very simple. The ends of the guitar strings, the claves used for Latin American rhythm. And then he approached his victims from the rear, looped the wire over their heads, and... Ooh, how terrible. It's very clever. As we jazz lovers say, this routine is murder.
Ever since the day that you went away, you've been sending flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again. Flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms. Sending flowers to me, send me no flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again. You've been sending flowers to me, send me no flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again. Ever since the day that you went away, you went away, you went away. Ever since the day that you went away, you went away, you went away. Sending, you went away, you went away, you went away. Ever since the day that you went away, you went away, you went away. You've been sending flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again. Flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms. Sending flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again. Flowers, flowers to me, flowers today, flowers today. Instead of sending flowers, come back to me and hold me in your arms again.
Everybody's at the record house, rocking at the record house. If I'm rocking at the record house, baby, baby, rocking at the record house. If I'm rocking at the record house, baby, the record hop. Rockin' and rollin', rollin' and rockin'. Rockin' and rollin', rollin' and rockin'. Rockin' and rollin', rollin' and rockin'. Rockin' and rollin' and rollin' and rockin'. At the record hop. Ya do ba do ba do ya do ya do ba do ba do ya do ya do ba ya do ba ya do everybody's at the record hop, ya do ba ya do
Everything you said we already knew, more or less.
Well, here's something that you didn't know. 2 of those special atomic bombs haven't gone off.
Helpless as I can be, I knew you so much in love. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Upsurge Premier League Quarterfinals. We are here a little bit late today with the match between Radiance and Mirage Esports. We've already hopped into the pick and ban. Apologize for the delay. We had a bunch of technical difficulties on our end, but we are here. We're getting started, and we already got bans coming through.
Yeah, no, Olaf already taken off the table. They do not want Hyper here in for Odd Orange. But they don't want Hyper playing that Olaf at all here. LeBlanc also going to be taken off the table. Heike Savage has been popping off as of lately on that LeBlanc, so they definitely do not want to let that through. Karma, also going to be another ban. It's been played in the top lane a little bit. That Kleptomancy tank Karma, maybe. We see that. Maybe Karma in the mid lane. Who knows at this point. It's not going to be this game, though. Taken off the table already.
Yeah, definitely need to take those away, especially the LeBlanc pick, as you highlighted. Very strong on Heike Savage, so a good target ban here, and Radiance showing a little bit more respect for Heike Savage as well, with the Jace ban taken away.
Yeah, no, Heike, again, they're target banning him a lot, and I mean, for the side of Mirage, a lot of their games have been centered either around Heike Savage or Meek. The issue that they've come into and where they've dropped games is playing around Lawrence or Ego Jungler. But Lee Sin going to be taken off the table. Hyper not going to be allowed to play anyone too early game here. Again, they want Ego Jungler to have an okay time in the jungle that we've seen in games that they've dropped. If Ego Jungler gets behind, they tend to lose the game outright.
Yeah, I need to make sure he gets a good start, but that will be the Sejuani taken away from Ego Jungler. Still can possibly look to the Rek'Sai if he wants to take that, but that will be through bans, and Sivir is going to be Mirage's first pick of the game.
I mean, it's kind of an obvious pick. Yes, she did get hit with a bit of nerfs, but it doesn't really matter. Sivir still one of the top tier ADCs in the game by far. The fact that you can just Q the wave with her W as well, just clear it instantly, back, get your Essence Reaver, repeat over and over and over again until you get 2 items, start team fighting. It is just disgusting. Not to mention her ult as well. It is just an all-around amazing pick. Sylas, though, going to be picked up here for Radiance. That might be going over to Hyper. Though we have started to see a bit of Sylas jungle coming through in the meta. I don't know if Radiance wants to be the ones to, bring it out on the UPL stage here, but it's definitely a possibility.
Very definitely could be. Now, Cat Evolved has played Sylas a decent chunk in solo queue, so my guess would be this is going to the mid lane. Obviously, could be flex to the jungle. That is going to be Xayah locked in at the end of the day. Did want to mention very quickly here, the overlay graphic is an accident. It will be fixed soon. This is only going to be a best of 3 tonight, guys, so bear with us for that. But hopping back in the draft, Mirage hovering on that uni.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, the thing is, for Radiance, it kind of surprises me the fact that they didn't just pick up, something like the Xayah Rakan here if they're going to just pick Xayah outright. So kind of a little interesting, but the thing is, now you leave, yet again, one of the most annoying and strong bot lanes in the game in Sivir Yuumi. With the J4 as well, he can flag and drag into Cataclysm with the final chapter coming out from Yuumi, and it is just a massive team fight that Mirage is setting up here in this first half of the pick and ban.
Yeah, huge power picks taking away for Mirage here. Radiance sitting on one more pick before they go into the second ban phase. Do they want the Rakan here, or are they going to wait and see if it gets through the bans? Answer for you right there.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, it's kind of obvious that you're going to pick Xayah Rakan here. Again, still considered the best bot lane duo. Just so much range that you get so much damage, engage, stuns, charms. You get the works with Xayah Rakan. And I mean, it's good to see it. It does have, its downfalls facing the Sivir Yuumi, but once you start getting into those team fight phases, that's when Xayah Rakan starts to pop off. And especially when you have a Sylas that can steal the final chapter, that can steal the Cataclysm, it's going to be massive for them. As we get to the second half of the pick and ban phase, we have Irelia ban. I feel that's more targeted towards Lawrence here. The Nico taken off. Riven Corki as well. Fast bans coming out. Riven probably targeted at the top laner here of Radiance.
Yeah, trying to make sure that that can't come out here for Radiance, as we are going to hop into their first pick coming out of the draft phase here. Still looking for a solo laner and a jungler would be my guess. Obviously, like we talked about, the Sylas can be flexed in the jungle here, but Radiance would probably want to save their solo pick for last, so would expect to see a jungler out here. Who do they have on tap?
I mean, you still have the Rek'Sai that's still fairly strong in the meta. Sejuani was basically the other one, but it's going to be the Azir, so that's most likely a Sylas jungle. So they're saving the counter pick for their top laner here. Cat Evolved going to be on that Azir. Let's see what Mirage has to say about it, which is kind of curious to me why they would do that. Because, you know, you have this star mid laner in Cat Evolved. I would expect them, especially on red side, to try and get that counter pick off, but instead they're going to lock in the Azir. Has, you know, risen up in popularity. Gangplank going to be taken up here, most likely going over to Lawrence. And I mean, this might be an issue. You kind of dissuade some of the normal bruisers, but you know, you do bring in the opportunity for a lot of other champions to come in. As we see the Syndra. Ooh. I'm hoping it's a Syndra here, because this will be a really good matchup mid then.
Yeah, has certainly risen in popularity. Saw play in the bot lane, of course, in the LCS, so that is going to be locked in here. Would guess that is going to be in the mid lane instead. In the Gangplank, like you said, I think this is a really good option, because now Radiance has a question here. Do they flex Sylas in the jungle, hope that plays out for them, and get their counter pick top? Or are they going to simply leave the Sylas in the top lane to face the Gangplank and try to get a better jungler here? So very interesting situation that Mirage is going to pose for Radiance. Sitting on that last pick down to the very end, it will be the Camille locked for Radiance.
Okay, so I do like this. So you can still flex either one. It's not definite until we get into, you know, the client at this point. But it's most likely going to be a Camille top with a Sylas jungle. Sylas with Conqueror will have a really good time facing off against J4. Camille has an okay matchup in the Gangplank. If she can get on him with the Prism there, she will be able to do massive amounts of damage. Gangplank can't orange out of it. He can try to get the barrels off, but if he doesn't have Trinity Force, which he probably won't before 6, it'll just be a time for Camille. Just get off the damage, and it'll put Lawrence in a pretty bad position. So this is kind of, you know, you give up a little bit in the early game, but late game right now, Mirage has a really good team fight comp. But again, on the other side, so does Radiance.
Yeah, going to be a lot of explosive team fights going on here. I think important to highlight, though, as well, even if this is the Camille, you have the counter pick to the Gangplank in the top lane, obviously still has the global pressure, being able to drop that cannon barrage wherever it's needed. So that does give Mirage a lot of flexibility in their team composition and how they want to handle things. Radiance, on the other hand, lots of damage, not so much in the way of utility.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'm still kind of questioning that Camille into Gangplank pick, though. That unless the Camille is able to abuse, man, it's so questionable, because Gangplank is going to scale ridiculously well, and he's going to get, you know, a bit beefy once he gets that Sterix gauge, and I'm assuming J4 is going to go full tank, which means, you know, Mirage has somewhat of a front line, whereas Radiant, they don't really have that. They have a lot of engage. With the quickness coming out from Rakan, he goes in, uses his W, then E's right back to Xayah. You have the Emperor's Divide. You have the hook shot coming out from Camille. You have Sylas being able to steal the Cataclysm and Final Chapter. So, I mean, it's kind of iffy. I think Radiant, you know, if they play this correctly and use the picks that they have gotten, you know, they might be able to pull ahead, especially in that mid game where you're still going to be waiting for Sivir to scale and Gangplank to scale, whereas Xayah Rakan still have that immediate engage. You have Azir with the immediate engage. Same with Camille and Sylas.
Yeah, Radiance definitely does have the flexibility in the team composition here. Lots of damage and the ability to go off early, like you said. We do have confirmation here. It will be Ethereus on the Camille top lane, and Hyper bringing out the Sylas in the jungle, so that should be quite exciting to watch, especially, as you mentioned, good matchup into the Jarvan.
Yeah, no, I think Hyper has a really advantageous matchup here, and that doesn't go in favor of Ego Jungler. If he gets caught out by Hyper here, he is not going to have a good time, and especially coming into, you know, counter ganks and things like that, if Hyper just waits out the Flag and Drag, and especially if Cat Evolved can just dodge around the Flag and Drag, Ego Jungler and High Key Savage are not going to have a good time in that 2v2, which, you know, we're assuming the fact that Ego Jungler is going to continue with the playstyle that he has done over the past, you know, 7 weeks of the UPL? or 6 weeks. My mistake. So, I mean, if he intends to continue to gank mid, then it'll most likely be the counter ganks coming out from Hyper, which will again work in Radiance's favor.
Yeah, lots of early game pressure they can bring to bear here, but did want to talk about the bottom side. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of utility coming up from the Xayah Rakan once you start hitting the team fights, once you're actually playing as 5, but early on, how is this 2v2 going to play out, given that you gave over the Sivir, you gave over the Yuumi, and this is going to be a really annoying and a really frustrating lane to do anything in?
I mean, again, this is the beauty about Radiance. You don't need to play around any specific lane. You have the star mid laner in Cat Evolved. You have, when Auto Orange is playing, you have a good jungler. I don't know how Hyper plays. I haven't seen his matches. But I assume, if he's on the team, God, he must be good. But, the thing is, Jurassic and Winter kind of go as, a little bit of the unsung heroes here for the side of Radiance. They have done well in almost every single one of their matches, all 12 of them, because they have yet to drop a game in the UPL this season. Very interesting. But the thing is, even into a matchup like this, you just don't fight. If you can catch Meek out, then fine, go for it. Or if Hyper's there, fine, go for it. But Jurassic and Winter, they kind of just have to chill and let the other lanes, evolve into what they're going to be, which should be just Radiance pushing in. Eventually, that'll lead into roams, that'll lead into ganks, and that will eventually lead into Jurassic and Winter getting a lead. But in the 2v2, Meek and Pocus should be able just to push in Jurassic, push in Winter. There's not much they can do, and any poke that goes onto Meek will just be healed by Pocus.
Yeah, going to be a difficult position, but Radiance, as you were mentioning, have been able to pull through these kinds of things before. We will be hopping into a brief intermission for the spectator delay shortly, but before we go, we do want to shout out our sponsor, Kono. If you're looking to take your game to the next level, it starts with your peripherals. From keyboards to keycaps, mice, and more, our friends at Kono have got you covered. They work with the world's best designers, inventors, and makers to bring you some of the best gaming peripherals around. They've also been huge supporters of us here at Upsurge and have made generous contributions to our prize pool. If you need a new keyboard and more for your setup, we can't recommend anyone better than Kono. For more information, head over to Kono.store to check out all they have to offer. We'll be right back, and when we do, we'll be here on the Rift for Game 1 of Mirage Esports versus Radiance. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here on the Rift for Game 1 of Mirage Esports versus Radiance. Of course, we do have Mirage Esports over there on the blue side with Lawrence up in the top lane, Ego Jungler, of course, in the jungle, Hikey Savage holding down the mid lane, Meech at AD carry, and Pockus his support.
Yeah, no, and on the red side, we have the undefeated right now Radiance in the top lane, Arceus. In the jungle, Hyper, mid lane, the star mid laner himself, Cat Evolved, and Jurassic and Winter just chilling in the bot lane, matching with some Zyricon. Cheeky 5-man stack here, trying to look for something. Gonna be warded out though. Great ward there, coming out from the Yuumi and the Sivir. Just making sure that no antics level 1 go on, except for Hyper getting taken to about half HP.
Taking a chunk there, will be forced to recall, and they might just keep trying to get the harass down instead of playing it safe, just making sure that he'll be a little bit later on the... Okay, no, he is going to cancel the recall, will be just starting a little low HP, so a bit slower of a clear maybe for Hyper here.
Yeah, it does pop the one pot coming out from the refillable, so not the worst thing in the world. Silas clear is still pretty good. So, I mean, we will just get standard starts coming out from both Hyper and Ego Jungler. So we just see the normal trading coming out from Azir, getting that early game poke.
Of course, just have to lane constantly through a storm of spears here. And interesting to note as well, Etheres here is actually the Grasp of the Undying Camille top lane. So playing a little bit bulkier, just trying to survive the lane, maybe get a couple of procs, but going to be difficult given how evasive a gangplank can be. Damage comes down. Exhaust actually already burned, as well as the Ignite and the heal. Meech is going to be able to run to safety. Couple summoner spells blown, though. Pockus is out of defensive tools.
Yeah, the thing is, the Ignite is burnt as well. Jurassic is taken to about half HP. Both bots burned by the ADC. Again, you cannot disrespect Zyricon early. Yes, Sivir does have... Oh,
Theory's taking a big chunk, does get the physical damage shield from the passive to keep himself safe, but Lawrence is already bullying the hell out of this Camille.
Yeah, no, we really have no time to talk. Both lanes kind of just becoming bullies. And, you know, this is a good lane into Sivir Yuumi. Until the Sivir is able to, you know, back and get her first item, probably the Caulfield Warhammer at this point, kind of just, you know, a garbage situation for her. She's probably going to have to go Spell Shield second into a lane like this. If not, she's most likely going to die on the next engage coming out from Winter. As we see, you know, some normal trading.
Goes in, Hikey Savage taking some damage, gets the knockback, but the Jarvan is there as well. A good flash by Cat Evolved. He's trying to finish off the damage, pops the barrier as well. One more auto attack, but there's a flash away, and first blood goes over to Mirage. Ego Jungler saving his mid lane.
And a very aggressive there coming out from Cat Evolved, bringing both sums. Again, it looked like such a good trade, and it was just a great bait coming out from Hikey Savage. But again, we knew the fact that Ego Jungler is just going to be sitting mid lane. He's going to be, you know, setting up the RV, put in the, you know, marshmallows to roast a little bit. It's a midsummer's night, you know? Just got to sit in the mid lane and make sure that, you know, Cat Evolved isn't relevant in this game, at least as long as he can.
Definitely wants to get that gank going. Cat Evolved, though, almost came up with a kill regardless in the 1v2 scenario, so definitely something to be worried about, but does go down at the end of the day. And like we talked about earlier in the draft, Ego Jungler needs to get ahead for his team to find success. Well, you can't get much more ahead than that.
Yeah, he is looking towards the top lane. Nothing really going to come of it. Hyper taking the Scuttle Crab in the bot side. There is no vision onto him. Lawrence getting extremely low here. Same thing with Camille here. This is kind of becoming a problem. Silas over the Raptor wall might come in for mid here.
Thinking about it, but he is spotted out on the ward, so will not be able to make that play work. Instead, looking around, maybe going for the steal. They did know that the Jarvan was on the top side, so be able to take away the Krugs, deny some experience, get an advantage that way.
Yeah, this might be the gank onto bot lane, though.
They are going to be walking down towards it. This is going to be the grand entrance. Goes in. Hyper is going to be able to land the stun, trying to get some damage on the beach, but all of the Yuumi healing comes out. They don't have quite enough to flash in from Jurassic, and he does pick that up with the double daggers. Radiance picking up a kill.
Yeah, just committing to the play as a whole. Yuumi not really able to do much of anything in these early levels. She can kind of heal. But, you know, when you burn a flash there coming out from Jurassic to get the kill, there's not much that you can do. Already building a 10 CS gold lead against Meek. This is not where you want to be. Forced to pick up the Fairy Charm and the Longsword to try and hope to God you can sustain. Hyper going for something.
Mid lane. Hyper in the mid lane takes the damage on the Heike Savage, trying to get the rest of it down. They are going to go underneath the tower, but no, Heike Savage again walks away with low HP. Hyper wasting his time.
Yeah, 30 HP at most, getting the corruption stacks off. Has Time Warp Tonic, so it will, get there a bit faster. Probably the only thing that saved him was that Time Warp Tonic, giving that bit of percentage HP already. Ooh, good flash.
He's actually flashing in the top lane, trying to trade the damage.
Oh?
W'd in the wrong direction, did not get the heal. A flash forward, and Lawrence picks that one up, detonating that barrel.
Arterius just making misplays here. I mean, this is a matchup that goes in Camille's favor, and he W's the wrong way. UPL, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. We love that. Bit of a misplay there coming out, but now this puts the Gangplank extremely ahead. Just using the teleport, has Sheen corrupting pot. This is an excellent spot for him. He's now going to be able just to poke Arterius out of lane over and over and over again, getting those Grasp of the Undying stacks, and like I was saying earlier, he will become a lot tankier than most will think. Has the passive there, gonna do a bit of true damage, to be eaten up by the physical shield though.
Doing a lot of work here, really make sure that Camille doesn't have the opportunity to get ahead here. So far, Mirage is trading back surprisingly well against Radiance.
The thing is that Radiance is going to spike really hard in the next couple of minutes. Once you get the Xayah onto the item, once you get Rakan to level 6. So it's scary for the side of Mirage. They're taking advantage of what they have early game. Arterius just, not having a good time in the top lane. Seems a little bit unplayable, but he's only down 3 CS, which is the important thing at the moment.
Yeah, so much poke going through, but as long as you can stay even, the CS should be alright, and still sitting on the teleport, more importantly. But here we go, actually dive in the top lane, Cannon Barrage comes down, Ethereal is forced out from underneath the tower, gets a little bit of healing back from the W, Ego Jungler now, trying to finish it off, but he's waiting on cooldowns as well. There goes the Cataclysm, use the ultimate to stall for a little bit more time, but Ego Jungler does pick that one up, nicely executed dive, and they'll get some tower plating for themselves.
And the thing is, the Hextech Ultimatum didn't really dodge anything. If she would have been able to Hextech Ultimatum the Cataclysm, it might have resulted in something more, but here's the thing. Radiance sees 2 people on the top side, instantly goes towards the Mountain Dragon. That's going to be massive for them, especially if they intend to spike, at 15 minutes or so.
Oh, here we go, flash, 4 flash here in the mid lane. Heike Savage is going to take a bunch of damage. Hyper is there as well. Pops the Unleashed Power, but it's not going to do enough, and now he's running for his life. There should be no way out of this. Takes the damage, gets downed by Hyper, and that's Radiance finding a couple of things back on the backside of that top lane play.
Yeah, really great play there coming out from Cat Evolve, basically doing the Insect, but with the Shurima Shuffle instead. It's a great play by him. Final chapter
coming out. Meech is going to be able to get the root onto the Rakan, but not who you really wanted. He is going to be able to just battle dance out of the way there, so very nicely done.
I don't know if it was nicely done or a misplay coming out from Mirage here. Bit questionable with the ults and just basically everything, to be honest. He's going to go back in here?
Yeah, Ethereus gets the stun down, but is forced to walk away at the end of the day. Don't quite know about that, but he was already going to have to recall, so nothing that bad at the end of the day. Jurassic, though, will be forced out of lane here, and this will give the ability for Mirage to start picking up some of those plays.
Yeah, and I mean, this is the power of the Sivir. She can just poke freely. Now the lane has hit level 6, and really the only thing they have to worry about is the Rakan engage. So once, for the side of Mirage, they get their ultimates back, it won't be that bad, but for now, Meek just has to push out this wave, hopefully get a recall in time, and spend some of the almost 2,000 gold that he has in his pocket.
Yeah, will get him quite a ways towards that Essence Reaver. Of course, did go up in gold cost a few patches ago, but will be able to get there quite quickly with the gold lead he's built up. So definitely a bot lane going up pretty good for Mirage here.
4 towards the top lane here, though. Might not be the play here.
Winter roaming, but he is going to get spotted out on that ward. Instead drops his own Theories. Is going to be looking for the trade here on a Lawrence. Pulls that off and starting to find his footing, I think, a little bit more here in this top lane.
This might result in a big fight here. Winter looking for something here.
Still out of vision so far. Hextech Ultimatum is going to go. Winter trying to dash all the way in here. He has a ways to run, but the charm is going to land, and that will be Lawrence going down. Ethereum's picking that one up, but here comes the counter. Ego Jungler is in. Ethereum's just trying to run away, deny as many kills as he can. Syndra on the backside trying to go for the recon. This will be the Camille going down. Ego Jungler picks up the killing spree, but that will be Winter getting away with his life.
Yeah, I mean, it ends up going in favor of Radiance a little bit here because you are getting the kills onto who you need, and the thing is, it is Arterius just going down over and over and over again, so the gold isn't as bountiful, even though the gold did actually get reset there because of the one kill. But, you know, you have a 3-0 J4, but he's going full tank. So it's not the worst thing for the side of Radiance if the J4 is this fed. For the side of Radiance, they can make up a lot of this gold lead, but that Rift Herald going over to the side of Mirage is going to hurt their chances quite a bit.
Hyper now visiting the bot side, trying to bully down this tower as the top lane tower for Radiance is down to 1 plating left. So a very good target to use on that Rift Herald in order to just guarantee that first tower. So Radiance trying to bully down this bot lane.
Yeah, no, and now Furious has to play a bit aggressive here. If not, he's probably going to lose the tower. So we see bot lane still kind of a fiesta down there. 3 people down.
Yeah, the Jarvan does visit in order to make sure everyone is all right. Ethereum actually does get that stun off, though. Holding it even, trying to make sure that that last plating doesn't go over. And because Ego Jungler had to visit the bot side, it is going to take a little bit more time before they can resume the pressure top.
And now he needs to start making his way towards top, and he will most likely be spotted out. If we look at the wards, just look at the amount of wards Radiance has into the enemy jungle. They know exactly where Ego Jungler is and what he's going to be doing. He's going to secure the Rift Herald here. They do have vision on the control wards, though. Those will be taken, and a bit more vision is secured to the side of Mirage.
Yeah, Mirage really making sure that they have the Dragon area warded up, clearing out some of that Radiance vision here. And both teams kind of starting to settle down here. It's been a little bit more time now that they felt out their opponent.
No, I mean, again, you need the Sivir to start hitting her item points. Xayah already on that Essence Reaver with the boots and the dagger. So already in a pretty good position. Jurassic and Winter can be the difference makers now, just because Rakan has that quickness. And same thing with the Featherstorm here coming out from Jurassic. If they really want to go on to him, there's not much that they can do just because he can Featherstorm out.
Yeah, here we go, actually. Ego Jungler finds Cat Evolved. The Infernal has already been started, but this is going to be Ego Jungler caught out. He takes a ton of damage, uses the Cataclysm in order to avoid that, but there's nothing else he can do. Now Hyper is joining the fight. Final chapter is going to be blown. This is a very low members all across the board on Radiant. Jurassic is going to go down. A shutdown is picked up here. Heike Savage is going to take the kill on the Hyper as well, and they are still on the chase. A dash away from Cat Evolved will keep him safe for the moment, but Mirage actually pulled that fight out.
The thing is, all the ultimates were used or on cooldown before the main fight happened. They used everything onto Ego Jungler, which is what he wants. He wants to jump in there and be like, hey, you know, look at me. I'm a tank. Use everything on me. And that's exactly what Radiance did. Huge shutdown does go on to Cat Evolved, though, picking up that 300 gold bounty from Ego Jungler. But again, all the ultimates were used, which in turn cost them the subsequent fight.
Yeah, so weren't able to pick it up, and that was, though, the Infernal Drake. It did go down in favor of Radiant, so they come out ahead on the long term with that shutdown Golden Cat Evolve and with the power that the Infernal Drake is going to grant. Ego Jungler is going to find Winter here on the top side. This is going to be a swap. Bring the 80 carry up as Lawrence is there as well. Force dash away. Jarvan gets out, and first tower goes down in favor of Mirage.
That is massive for the side of Mirage here. We might see them try to make a play up here, trying to defend that T1 tower. I hope not, because it would be quite a tragic play here. But we'll have to see. The tower is starting to be taken by Jurassic. people are roaming up. You have 3 up here.
Yeah, this is going to be the ultimate's pop. This root comes through. The Jarvan is in, and that is going to be the first kill on a Jurassic. And now Winter caught out all by himself. Grand entrance into Battle Dance, though, will get him out. A Purloin final chapter is not going to be enough, though. Hyper is now all by himself. He does fall. A teleport is coming through, as well as Cat Evolve, trying to get the damage on the Meech. Meech goes down. A good Shreema Shovel is going to knock back Pockets, though Cat Evolve does die. Theory will pick up the kill on the backside, though. Lawrence in the bot lane can't join that fight. Very nicely executed.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, that was what? 5v4 or 4v4, and for the side of Mirage, they came out really ahead there. The Gangplank's able to continue to farm, already up 20 CS on his opponent, and this will most likely just be the mid tower. Can't really do much, and this might just be a kill.
No, Ethere's very nicely used that untargetability to avoid out on the unleashed power to survive, but that tower is so low it should be falling down to minions here very shortly if they can push back in, but choosing not to press their luck, and Mirage Esports will back away, but they did. Oh no, they will claim it after all. Minions do take that down.
You know, you can't underestimate minions. You kidding me? They're better than some of the players I play with in solo. Come on. Minions actually have brains. Don't diss minions. They end up taking the tower here, and this is really good. Oh no!
Ooh, stun onto Jurassic.
He is lucky. He is lucky that High Key Savage does not have unleashed power here. That, oh my goodness, we would have seen a dead Xayah. Actually, no, not really. She had Feather Stone. We would have seen a very low HP Xayah.
Very, very low, but does survive out. The pressure will resume. Looks like Mirage will be sending Lawrence back to the top side to try and clear out these waves. Now that they've cleaned out the outer ring,
might be risky for Lawrence.
He's going to try to go underneath the tower. Combo is going to miss. Winter is going to be able to try and get away. Cannon Barrage stolen, but Lawrence surviving here so far in a 4v1 situation. Ethereus is here as well.
Yeah, I don't think he knows that Ethereus is here with Hyper. Lawrence is dead. There's no way he outplays this.
Yeah, trying to survive here. The tower is going to be the focus for the moment. He does not have the wave clear in order to kill up the wave, and now he's all by himself. He does go down as well as the tower. Radiance finding something here back as the pressure resumes in the mid lane.
Yeah, no, again, Sivir Yumi just pushing up the wave over and over and over again. But the thing is, you're pushing into the Azir. It's, you know, not the most amazing thing to push into. But again, Sivir Yumi not having the worst times. Ego Jungler there to back up Meek and Focus. That's going to be the Cannon Barrage used by Hyper. But again, the blue buff steal here is pretty massive. That means Cat Evolved will not be able to use his spell rotation as much as he would like. And the way he's building right now, he doesn't have any mana regen.
Yeah, going for a bit of a Fnatic Death Brush here, camping in advance of the dragon spawning in. But this is going to be sniffed out here by Radiance. They're not going to fall for it, and this is a lot of wasted time now. For the side of Mirage, looks like they will just be falling back to the Drake instead with nothing gained.
I mean, it's more, what does Radiance gain from going into the jungle? They have the ward into the jungle partially. If you want to go on to Winter, that's fine. You'll just get out. It doesn't actually matter. That's...
Ooh, will he, though? Final chapter is burned. A dash away, and the Unleashed Power does not pick up the kill. Jurassic using the heal to keep his support alive. A bunch of important cooldowns, though, used in advance of this dragon fight, and now Lawrence is going to get stunned up. He is going to be using the oranges to clear out the status effect, and looks like there will be everyone falling back to the dragon, but ultimates have been burned from the solo laners here.
Yeah, no, the biggest ultimate burn is Focus's ult with the final chapter. Dragon will go over to the side of Mirage. Of course, it's the Ocean Dragon, not the Inferno or the Mountain. That's Cannon Mirage,
and on the hunt are burned. This is going to be Jurassic immediately blown up. A stolen ultimate is from the Jarvan. The fourth, they will get the knockback. Cat Evolved is dashing over the wall, but they are on the wrong side of the map for this. High Key Savage gets a stun onto Hyper. They are still trying to chase down. This is going to be Radiance looking for a way out. Ego Jungler has finally found them over the wall, trying to get the damage on the Cat Evolved, who has no mana. Instead, this is going to be Hyper trying to trade the kill back. He does take down Meech, but he may not be able to get out instead. No, Ethereus is in. Winter is there. This is a huge skirmish here. Ethereus trying to trade back the damage. I don't know that he has enough. They are juggling the aggro, trying to make sure everyone stays alive and gets out, but Jarvan is going to chase back in. Hyper is going to try and get out, but Lawrence takes the kill on Ethereus as he tries to go over the wall. Mirage pick up a bunch of kills in that very hectic fight.
Yeah, no, that ends up being, I believe it was a 3-for-3 overall. Or that might have been a 3-for-3 overall for both sides. Even though it looked extremely hectic, Thing is, Mirage is spiking right now. They do have the Trinity Force on the Gangplank, and J4 has hit 2 items. So now the Sivir is a bit, you know, tankier with the Knight's Vow. So now we are just waiting for her to hit that IE point, and then once she's able to hit that, she'll be able to output a lot of damage. Jurassic still waiting on that RFC at this point. Get that bit of extra range, be able to stay safe in team fights, whereas right now, it's kind of getting caught out a little bit.
Radiance has not been able to find these fights quite yet. Mirage playing very well together. Don't quite sniff out Hyper there, but they will eventually see him over the wall, and now on the hunt, Stolen. And this should be a lot of pressure now starting to form towards the Baron area as that has spawned in.
And I mean, this, you know, to a lot of people is kind of shocking to see. Oh, never mind, hold up.
Yeah, as the trade is going to go. Lawrence takes a bunch of damage there from the Precision Protocol, but does get the heal. He's looking to maybe trace, but decides against it at the end of the day here. Not really what you want to see having happened to your Camille, but this will be Hyper starting to rotate down towards the bottom side. They might look for Lawrence.
This might be the pick onto him. Might be the pick onto Winter, though.
Yeah, Winter instead. That is going to be ultimate burn. Lawrence is trapped all by himself, though, across the map. He's trying to trade back onto Hyper, but the good damage there from the Kingslayer, and Hyper does pick that up, goes on the killing spree, but that was a cross-map trade. The jungler, they know, is on the bottom side, and this is going to be Mirage immediately starting the Baron.
Yeah, Baron take isn't that fast, so it might be pushed off it. This might just be the Baron throw here. I don't think they have the damage to do it that quickly.
Yeah, teleport is channeled from Aetherius. He's going to the top
Oh,
side.
God.
They suspect that it's going. Catapult is going to dash in. He does a great back throw onto Heike Savage. He will go down. Jurassic picks that kill up. Pox goes down, and now they're trying to trade onto Meech. He is all by himself. He can't trade the damage back. Ego Jungler is there, but he doesn't have anything he can do. Looking for Jurassic. Actually gets the flash in. He does take that. A double kill not picked up, but he is dunked with his own ultimate. Hyper takes that one. A shutdown now, and Radiance gets the ace, and Radiance might come up with the Baron here.
No, they don't have the damage for it. If Azir or Zyra was still alive, they could go for the Baron. This will most likely just be the mid-tower take. But, I mean, a bit of a Baron throw there coming out from Mirage. They don't have that much damage. Your Gangplank is dead, which is a lot of your AD damage. Your Sivir does not have any attack speed, because your Yuumi, on the other side, doesn't have an Ardent Sensor as well. So, I mean, it's so tragic to see Mirage throwing almost a 4K gold lead, but now almost tied up, only an 800 gold lead now in favor of Mirage.
Yeah, losing out on some of their potential there, going for that Baron play, but the punish not as bad as it could have been. They did take a lot of casualties on the side of Radiance, so at least able to stymie the Baron, but I do think that this is a game that Mirage are going to have to try and end sooner rather than later.
Yeah, no, it's really unfortunate, the fact that the full tank J4 is the one that's ending up with most of these kills. If you had some of the kills onto the Syndra, if you had some of the kills onto the Sivir, or even the Gangplank at this point, you would have such a better time right now. Thing is, you know, J4 might be unkillable, but if you don't have your carries behind you doing, you know, actual substantial damage, it's just not worth it.
Not so much. Saw Ego Jungler there visiting the bottom side with the Yuumi, trying to find the pick onto Aetherius, but doesn't quite get it, and now has to rotate back towards the top side as that's where all the vision is going down from Radiance. They're setting this up for a potential take, and this is going to have to be the fight.
Oh, Lawrence, you do not want this
Here we
fight.
go. Lawrence takes the damage, does drop down the cannon barrage. He's trying to survive as long as he can. Aetherius forced to
hook
one
shot.
from Hextech ultimatum, and now going for the second hook shot. He is going to miss out on Lawrence, but the Camille starting to turn up big in these cross-map trades.
Yeah. Oh, no.
Oh, here we go around the corner. A great final chapter is going to get the stun onto 2. Syndra does not have enough to survive. Meat should be going down here. 2 easy picks picked up for Radiance now, and they do have the pressure in the Baron area. Aetherius goes underneath the tower. He doesn't have quite enough to kill. Meanwhile, on the opposite side, Hyper does find Ego Jungler and the Yuumi. Looks like they will be forced to run away here, but this should be, I think, a Baron attempt as Aetherius does find Lawrence on the other side of the map, tries to get the damage down, but the Gangplank is not out quite yet. He jukes, and he does come up with a kill. The shutdown goal is there. Now, this is Radiance on the Baron. Ego Jungler is there. He does have the the Yuumi for a little bit of support here, as the Cataclysm is going to be stolen. They're trying to trade back onto the Jarvan in the fourth, but they're taking very, very low. Ego Jungler goes in. A big Cataclysm gets some damage down, but no one has died quite yet. He doesn't have quite enough. Lawrence has finally roamed up. Thunderstorm comes out, Pacus does take down Cat Evolved, and now Radiance is forced to run away from the Baron with their tail between their legs.
Yeah, no, I mean, you lose Cat Evolved, but you still have... Oh, hello.
Pause is going to come through. Heike Savage is going to have to restart his client here. But yeah, a big fight there.
Man, both teams getting, kind of antsy here. I get it. It's, the first game of the 2019 UPL playoffs. But I mean, you kind of got to tone it back. These Baron plays coming out from both Mirage and Radiance are just not looking good at this point. You had the damage to do it quickly, but with your HP below half on 3 of your members, you just can't do things like that. It ends up in, Cat Evolved dying, Arterius on the bot lane ends up trying to go for, the ballsy 1v1, but ends up dying to Lawrence under tower. That's not where you want to be dying.
Yeah, not so much. And so Lawrence was able to join that fight and really salvage things for Mirage Esports. And I do want to highlight as well, great patience on Ego Jungler, being able to say, let them take Baron damage. I don't have to commit yet, waiting for them to get low and then making that play. And you were talking earlier, the Jarvan has all this gold. It's mostly irrelevant. Mirage would be in a much better spot. But because he's so tanky, he's able to stall that Baron attempt out, wait for Lawrence to arrive. And suddenly that turns into a fight win for Mirage.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, he does have the Warmog, so he can just relax for a second here and just, come back and fight. You see him in the mid lane right now just waiting. He gets his Warmogs, and they can probably just go towards this Baron.
As here we are back in game. This will be the recalls coming out from several members of Radiance. And the Gangplank now looks like we'll be recalling, getting some of that gold as Ego Jungler is actually starting the Ocean Drake. And this is starting to be a relevant dragon as the games go on. These fights happen, getting that sustain down.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, this is where the advantage of stacking multiple Ocean Dragons comes into effect. This is what you want to see, and they're starting to, pop off a little bit. Second Ocean Dragon is secured. Gold lead now sitting at only 500 in favor of Mirage. This is not looking good for them. They need to start making plays a bit sooner, or it's going to be Radiance hitting their power spikes and taking it to them.
Yeah, Radiance certainly not out of this yet, being able to play pretty calm. Obviously, the Baron play, maybe not so much a calm and collected decision, but so far they have not lost enough of their infrastructure to really make them worried. Still sitting on the scaling of the Azir, the scaling on the Xayah, as now the Vision wars resume again once around in the Baron area.
Yeah, just a little bit. You gotta build that Vision up. Jurassic going for that Hex Drinker, though, which I think is interesting, to say the least. Does delay his IE by quite a bit. You still do have Sivir sitting on 2 items and change here a little bit, which is massive. Focus in a bad situation.
He does pop the final chapter, but he doesn't have nearly enough to survive. Ethereum's now actually flashes back over the wall. Maybe didn't want to take that hook shot, but that is a pick. Final chapter is now going to be burned onto Lawrence from the purloined ultimate of Hyper. But a lot of abilities used here, and Radiance aren't really able to purloin this into a fight they want. As actually, here we go, Ego Jungler comes up with nothing.
I know, a bit aggressive there from Arterius. Ends up having a bit of Lee syndrome on the Camille. Ends up going over the wall instead of just jumping back. Thought he could take the play when in reality he couldn't. Mirage trying to set up a bit of a death brush here. I don't believe it'll amount to anything.
No, but Trinket use spots them out.
Just, not the play this time. Tower is set up in the mid lane by Azir, and this will most likely be them pushing towards the Baron. Even though Scuttle Crab is in favor of Mirage here, they can still definitely take a fight. For the side of Radiance, they're not all too weak here. They do have a really good chance of winning a fight here. Flag and Drag is dodged by Cat Evolved, though. Very important.
Yeah, a good thought from Radiance using the tower to guarantee mid lane pressure and then fading back towards the Baron, but they know they can't start it. They know that they don't have the ability to just burn that down, so Doesn't quite work out, but advantage here for Radiance. Etheres is still sitting on his teleport. Lawrence is not. So that does mean that they have the split push side lane pressure here, and Mirage do not have an answer.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I mean, the massive thing is for Radiance, they do have that mountain drag. So if they are given, you know, about 10 seconds on that Baron undisturbed, it's going to go down almost instantaneously. Gold lead just about even here. Only 100 gold separates both teams. And this is where Radiance gets scary. When they're able to keep their gold lead even, this is when things turn dangerous. Lawrence finding Arthurius here.
Yeah, there's taking some damage. The Sivir is there as well, but hookshot gets him over the wall to safety, but that is going to be a chunk. Has to recall, maybe even forces out the teleport here if they want to keep the side lane pressure. And again, Radiance trying to make use of this. They do fade back up towards the Baron. Mirage looking, though.
Thing is, Arthurius is still in the bot lane on the HP that he's on. Does have the Vamp Scepter, though, to get him a bit healthier than what he is. That will be the vision cleared out. Mirage getting that vision control as bot lane tower starts to take a bit of a beating.
Yeah, this is Ethereus. He did have the Vampiric Scepter built up, was able to sustain back to full HP, and again, there's no answer. They have to send Lawrence back down to the bottom lane in order to deal with this, but his teleport is still not available, and Ethereus is still sitting on his, so Radiance very nicely using that macro pressure in order to guarantee a tower.
Yeah,
Actually, here we go. Eagle Jungler, they go into Winter. Final chapter is burned as well as Cataclysm. They aren't able to quite kill anybody yet. Here comes the Feather Storm into the flash. Jurassic is getting away so far, but looks like he will be run down by Meech. A shutdown goal picked up, and now on the backside, they are trying to re-engage. Triple kill now for Meech as well. They're trapped inside their own Cataclysm. He's trying to get the rest of the damage down. Hyper dashing through. He does take the kill with a Hextech Proto Belt, and now trying to survive, but there's nothing he can do. He does get shut down. Heike Savage taking that one. Ethereus forced to run away, did use the teleport, and another Baron look here for Mirage.
I mean, this will be the Baron to them. Unless Arthurius can come in with the Miracle Steel heal here, that will just be the Baron going over to them. I mean, oof, just really mispositioning coming out from the side of Winter and Jurassic. Winter just stalling so long on using the quickness instead of using it almost instantaneously, gets locked up by the final chapter and is forced to just stay in place as Jurassic just gets beat on. And I mean, Meek comes out with a triple kill.
Yeah, huge pickup there for Meech, and the Baron now secured for Mirage. You were worried a little bit about them and their ability to go the distance in this game, but 30 minutes have passed. They finally secured the Baron. They're back up to a 3,000 gold lead, and they're really going to need to make this work if they want to cut out Radiance before they get that Azir really scaling.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, right now, Cat Evolved sitting at 2 items, about to be 3 in probably about 2 waves here. So not the worst thing in the world. But the thing is that Syndra is putting out quite a bit of damage. Same thing with the Sivir. They're trying to go for something. Not really going to find much of anything, though, with that hook shot. They use the quickness, though, which is really bad. That's a huge team fighting ultimate coming out from Winter. And now you kind of just have to wait for that to come back. It's a 77-second cooldown. Probably now up to 45 seconds.
Yeah, big cooldown burn, and now it's Lawrence's turn for the teleport advantage, so they can get the push going in multiple of these lanes with the 4-1 push going. The bot lane tower does fall here. Ethereus, they do see him force a hook shot away, so this is going to be multiple towers falling, and inhibitors now under siege here for Radiance.
Radiance not in a good position here. They might lose their first game in the UPL.
Oh, actually, the pick is on to Lawrence. The Stairs Gauge keeps him alive for a little bit longer. He's trying to get onto Ethereus. Forces the flash out as he flashes back. They aren't able to quite find the kill there, but this will be the Cannon Barrage taking the kill on the Cat of Ball. Pockets picks that one up with the final chapter. And now looking for Hyper. He does have the dash away. He takes the damage. The Comet is there. The Boomerang Blade doesn't quite land, but here goes Ego Jungler. He Cataclysms in. The sustain is there, though. Heike Savage trying to get the damage down. He is taking up the tower. Ego Jungler does get rooted, though, and Heike Savage can't continue taking. Shutdown now picked up for Ethereus. Meech trying to finish off this inhibitor, though, in the mid lane, but he will likely give his life in exchange for this. He dies. The inhibitor goes down, and this is going to be Mirage picking up a lot, but giving over a ton of kills.
Yeah, that puts items now towards a lot of people. Azir picking up a little bit. Finally up to 3 items. Xayah picking up a kill there as well. That's going to be really massive for them. Yes, you do lose inhibitors, but the thing is, you have... Oh my goodness. That's a lot of damage.
Really trying to make something work here, but Heike Savage delivering the damage. As here they go, they found him from around the side. Etheres picks him up. The Yumi goes down as well. And Radiance all of a sudden look like they have their backs against the wall. They have a chance here.
Yeah, the bait coming out from Winter here. He's like, oh, look at me. You know, I'm low. Same thing with Jurassic. But that's going to just be the pick coming off. That's one tower falling in the mid lane, pushing towards the inhibitor. Even though they're super minions, doesn't really matter. But, oh, Lawrence here putting back some damage.
Yeah, those barrels are starting to hurt. The Gangplank really sitting on top of that power spike here with the Stair Stage Trinity Force completed. Now Lawrence actually, he's hanging around. He does get stunned up. The Hextech Ultimatum comes through, and he's all by himself. Drops the Cannon Barrage, trying to deal the damage back down onto Ethereus, but there's nothing he can do. Another pick goes over to Mirage. And now Hyper on the side. He does steal off at the On the Hunt. He will pop that immediately, try and get some more damage down. But Radiance, they snowballed a pick into a pick, and it's going to be a long time before Mirage has their full 5-man squad back together.
Yeah, that's the thing about staggered deaths, is that you delay having your 5-man. For the side of Mirage, they need that 5-man. Jurassic might be caught out here, though.
Yeah, Ego Jungler, they go in. Final chapter is Burn, still sitting on the Cataclysm. There it goes. Jurassic does go down. Catavolve on the backside, though, is going to get a push back in. They are trying to get the damage down. Catavolve, Niche goes down. And now this Charm is on the pocket. He should be dead all by himself. No, he has the dash away to Heike Savage. If the final chapter can be dodged out, but Hyper does land the stun on the backside. He takes it with a Kingslayer. Pockets goes down. And Ace comes through for Radiance. They might be able to end the game here.
Oh my god, what a disgusting way to win the game here if they're able to do it. Sivir coming up in 25 seconds. You only have Lawrence coming up in 3, 2, 1. He's here. He might be able to output the damage here.
Yeah, they're looking to try and save this. Lawrence is going to get focused immediately. He's getting taken down. The turret is not enough. And Radiance, they do lose Catapult at the end of the day. But Radiance takes game 1 in stunning fashion.
Jeez. What even is life? Radiance behind the entire game. Just getting smacked for most of the game, trying to keep a little bit in, down 4k gold, ends up coming back, and on the last play, their star mid laner, Cat Evolved, comes in with the Shurima Shuffle into the behind, and just gets a 3-man ultimate. That has to be so demoralizing for the side of Mirage Esports. You had such a lead, the #1 team in all of amateur League of Legends right now. You had the lead on them. You were looking so good. And then you lose one team fight. You overstay one time in the base to try to get the inhibitors, to try to crack the base, to try to do something. And you just lose off a Cat Evolve making an amazing play with Hyper just eating a ridiculous amount of damage, getting the final chapter off, and just killing everyone in front of him.
Yeah, a huge pick there. And like you said, that has to be so demoralizing for Mirage Esports. They weren't able to come up with the game 1 win despite how good they looked. And now they have to immediately go and win 2 in a row against Radiance, who they were really struggling with. Like you said, one of the best teams in the league. So definitely going to have to see how they perform in game 2. But Radiance looking pretty shaky, but they do have the game 1 now. They can afford to lose the next game if they need to and come back strong. So we will be hopping into a brief intermission as we set up for game 2. Before we go, though, we do want to re-mention that the open qualifiers is going to be open. Upsurge Esports is giving everyone, experienced or not, the chance to compete for a prize pool of $3,000, as well as an opportunity to qualify for Riot Games LCS Scouting Grounds qualifiers. This 2-day tournament will be on August 3rd and 4th, but registration is open now. There's no entry fee and anyone can enter, so strap in and get ready for the qualifier. And as a reminder, the winner of the UPL will just make it into the qualifier. They don't have to play in this, so Radiance looking pretty good for that spot. But we are going to hop onto the brief intermission. Don't go anywhere. When we return, we'll be in for Champ Select for Game 2 of Mirage Esports versus Radiance. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here back in Champ Select for Game 2 of Radiance versus Mirage Esports. Mirage, of course, losing in absolutely heartbreaking fashion to Radiance, a game they very easily could have won. Now have to regroup and figure out what their strategy is going to be here for Game 2.
Yeah, no, same bands coming out. Jace, Olaf, going to be standard bands here. Kind of just the respect bands coming out from both teams. And I mean, we still never got to talk about, in detail here, the fact that whoever wins this, tournament style of playoffs, right, they go straight into Riot-sponsored scouting grounds. They don't have to play in the open tournament, which Upsurge is hosting, by the way. I'm pretty sure it is in chat right now. The link to join can be anyone. The thing is, if Radiance or Mirage wins this entire event, they go straight to LCS scouting ground.
Yeah, obviously a super big deal there. I don't think we need to even bother overstating how important that is. And Radiance looking in pretty fine spot in order to take that, as they are undefeated so far and looking at taking this first quarterfinal match, as the last of the bands do come through. LeBlanc, Sejuani banned away again, as are the Karma and Lee Sin.
Yeah, same bands as last time. Mirage is saying, all right, run that back one more time. We're not letting Cat Evolve do that to us again. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Well, I'm out of playoffs.
Yeah, Mirage given the salty run back here. Same exact bands. Radiance, though, thinking about their first pick. It's in their court if they decide they want to give Mirage the salty run back of their dreams, sitting on that last pick. And they will secure the Yuumi this time around, so not quite going to be there for Mirage, but couple of power picks still on the table if they want to take it away. Sivir most notably. Yeah,
Sivir there. You still have the Sonataric available, even though it did receive a bit of a nerf in these previous patches. Sivir going to be taken, which is the smart thing coming out from Mirage. Excuse me there. Smart thing coming out from Mirage. You do not want to be facing Sivir Yuumi. Nautil is going to be picked up, considered one of the counters to Yuumi. So now it depends. Are you going to pick something like the Ezreal that kind of has a tough time but is great with Yuumi? Or are you going to, lock into something like a Xayah, like a Tristana even, like a Caitlyn? Or, you have so many different picks that you can go with here, especially since Mirage locked in their bot lane. You might want to secure that as well. And that's just going to be the Ezreal locked in. So it is going to be the Ezreal Yuumi versus the Sivir Nautilus.
Yeah, so good solid bot lane there for Radiance. Not a lot of early pressure, but does at least have the poke and the survivability, so the makings of a solid composition here so far. And Radiance now thinking about their pick. I would expect a jungler here in the first rotation, try to save the solo lane picks for last, but might decide they want to go ahead and pick something up for Cat Evolved early on, as he has been playing quite well. But no, it will be the run back on the Sylas, and Mirage immediately say, we'll take the Gangplank.
I know everyone's saying, you know what, run it back. It don't matter. It do not matter. I kind of expect Mirage, though, to play it smart, maybe ban the Azir for Cat Evolved. They didn't throw a Katarina ban his way, even though, he's supposed to be the Cat 1 trick here. Kind of deviated away as the years have progressed, but still a monstrous Katarina nonetheless. As we see the Rek'Sai ban being taken off. Lots of jungle bans, though. We are starting to fall back a little bit on the jungle tier list here.
Yeah, so gonna be some interesting junglers popped out. Of course, Radiance, they have shown that they'll run the Sylas in the jungle if they absolutely need to, so that is a flex pick. And Cat Evolved has played Sylas a decent amount in solo queue, so could be a mid lane pick as well. So really gonna be in Mirage's court here to say, what solo picks do we want to go ahead and take? Radiance are actually gonna ban the Azir themselves.
Okay. See, that to me is interesting. If Mirage were to pick Azir, they'd have a very, very, very strong composition coming out from them. They're going to, again, run it back with the J4. Mirage does not care. They're saying, you know what? We lost in a tragic way. I still think Lawrence did well. We still think Ego Jungler did well. We're going to run them both back, get a more powerful bot lane this time, and save the counter pick now for High Key Savage.
Yeah, so do have that absolute last pick this time around, so they will get the solo lane matchup they want. Yorick is actually going to be locked in here for Radiance, likely in the top lane here. And so the only question remaining is where the Sylas is going to go, but Yorick picking that powerful split pusher to deal with the Gangplank.
You gotta start to deal with Yorick Mori. I mean, it's not a fun matchup for Gangplank. You don't have many things that you can orange there. You can orange the slow. That's about it. Once that maiden comes through, oh no, oh god, oh
The
no.
Zoe here
I don't
is
wanna
going to be locked
cast.
for the mid lane.
I don't want to do this. I hate Zoe. And now you have Cat Evolved on Zoe. Man, not like this.
And you're
Things
not
are gonna
hyped about that? Come on, man.
I will always complain about Zoe.
Yeah,
Man, I genuinely hate Zoe. Anyone who has watched my casts over the years will know I just despise that little girl. Oh my Christ. Ooh, ooh.
Well, hate it or not, that is going to be Cat Evolved on the Zoe, which does mean it's going to be the Sylas in the jungle one more time. And Mirage, their composition is almost identical to what they played last time.
Oh yeah, they have the strong bot lane with lots of engaged. You have the same 3 champions on your top 3 people with Lawrence, Eagle Jungler, and Heike Savage. But I mean, now you have an even stronger bot lane. The issue is now that counter pick in the top lane is even more prominent than what it was last game. And in the mid lane, it's still an okay matchup for Cat Evolved here. Syndra does have a bit of an advantage. She can just scatter the weak once Zoe uses her ultimate. But the thing is, it's Cat Evolved Zoe. It's, one of his top played picks throughout the UPL split. It's been one of his top played picks all throughout solo queue. And overall, it's probably one of his top tier champions at this point. So Mirage is still here for an uphill climb.
Yeah, Mirage will have to deal with a very, very strong champion coming out from Cat Evolved, as you said, and the makings of a very strong poke comp for Radiance as well. You have the Yuumi prowling projectiles, Ezreal mystic shots, the Zoe obviously throwing those paddle stars that do a third to half of your HP just by landing. Sorry to trigger you once again, Sordo, but super strong poke composition. Mirage, though, they have the counter, they have the engage, they have the ability to just kind of run you down with On the Hunt and the Nautilus Dredge line looking for picks. So I think Mirage, again, have a very strong composition and a solid base that they can execute on.
Here's the thing, right? They have, for the first, 20 minutes of the game, they only have one person that can probably eat a full combo from Cat Evolved. If he hits the Sleepy Bubble into the full range Paddle Star, anyone on the side of Mirage is dead. There is nothing. Like, nada. Except for Ego Jungler. And that's going to be the biggest thing. Nautilus, even though, we consider him a tank, in the support role, you don't really get tanky until about that third item. Once you hit that Knight's Vow, once you hit that Locket, or even Zeke's at that point, it's just not tanky enough. And especially since you have to build a bit of armor into something like the Ezra, like the Yorick, it's just a perfect split of magic damage and physical damage coming out from the side of Radiance that it's so difficult to build against.
Yeah, certainly will throw some itemization issues towards Mirage here, but again, this composition, we saw them play a very similar comp in the last game. They executed on it incredibly well. They were able to handle what Radiance was throwing at them in the early stages of the game. Ego Jungler did not get behind, even though he was against the Sylas. We kind of talked about that in the last game. So Mirage, I think, still have a solid composition they can execute on. They have the ability to go for this and to kind of do the run back here. So the question is can Radiance learn from their mistakes and re-execute? Or is Mirage still going to have this locked down?
Well, again, it's like you said, Ego Jungler had a really good game last game. The biggest issue that we have seen coming from Mirage throughout all of the split has been Ego Jungler Lawrence. Can they stay ahead? If they stay ahead, you saw what they could do. Even though Lawrence was, running even, it was the fact that Ego Jungler was just all over the map. So, I mean, it's really important to see what Ego Jungler can do. If he can gank Heike Savage and, get successful ganks off onto Cat Evolved, then that's where Radiance starts to fall behind. Thing is, Cat Evolved was able to get ganked in the first part, but then survived the subsequent ganks afterward. And that's the thing that, hindered the lead that Mirage could have built. You ignore the fact that both teams threw at Baron. You ignore the fact that Mirage, overstayed their welcome inside of Radiance's base. They played the early game almost immaculately, and if they're able to do it again and clean up those mistakes that came from that mid game, they might be able to knock off the #1 team in Amateur League of Legends.
Yeah, we'll have to see. Would be the start of their comeback, so looking to see if Mirage can take the second game. We are going to be hopping into an intermission as the game loads. Before we go, we do want to do a quick plug for Midwest Esports. Midwest Esports has been around for many years, starting as a small student group out of Wichita State University. Since then, Midwest Esports has grown to be a veteran organizer to tournaments and events throughout the U.S. They host tournaments for games like Rocket League, Overwatch, and of course, League of Legends. For more information, check them out at MidwestEsports.com. We will be hopping into the game here shortly. Don't go anywhere. Radiance versus Mirage Esports will be coming up. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We are here in the Rift for Game 2 of Mirage Esports versus Radiance. Apologies for the slightly longer than usual spectator delay, but we are back at it again in Mirage. Looking to take Game 1 and the first game ever off of Radiance.
Now trying to pull a game off. You might see some early antics here. They do have the Nautilus as Heike Savage just eating some damage there. Just eat it for breakfast, just a little bit. Just nom on that stuff right quick.
Already seeing the strength of the poke comp there, yeah.
I mean, and that was just with Zoe. So, I mean, yikes! When we start seeing Ezreal hitting that 2-item power spike, whew, gonna be a fun time for me.
Yeah, but that is at least going to allow Heike Savage to get the recall off, get the heal back, and will return to lane. Nothing else going on. The standard 5-man startup. So shouldn't be too much to worry about here. And it looks like this will be Hyper rotating down towards the bottom side, starting the red buff, as well as Ego Jungler starting the bot side as well. So could look to see these junglers fighting each other in the early stages.
Dude, Lawrence up here hitting them with the dab emote. Just trying to dab on Arceus here. Just get that early damage in. But Arceus is just like, yeah, smack him with the hammer, or smack him with the shovel. I was gonna say hammer. But
yeah, not a hammer, it's a shovel, you know, to bury you with. So Lawrence taking a bit of damage here in the top lane, but will just return to doing gangplank things, spamming that parlay on you, getting the gold, getting the
wait a minute.
grass proc. So
Ego Jungler is just pathing down here, level 2. Okay, I like it. I like this play.
Yeah, very spicy. Looking for the Ezreal and the Yuumi to push out as here he goes. A 2-man knockup into the flash forward. Fox is going to get the root down. Winter is going to go down. Pockets picks up first blood there. And Ego Jungler, he needed an early lead. Well, he found it.
I mean, I guess, if you just want to throw that over to me. You see Lawrence just... gonna have a fun time in this lane. Again, we're starting to see power of what Ego Jungler can do if he gets ahead. Lawrence just eating some more damage little by little here. Trying to set up a bit of a freeze here though. Does have the minions necessary to do it. Just trying to trade back a little bit. But great job there by Ego Jungler. Great job there by Pocus more than anything. Gets the flash root onto the Yuumi as she tries to jump in. And that just ends up being a kill for them. Yuumi goes down. And again, this is why Nautilus is considered a hard counter to Yuumi.
Definitely a tricky champion to deal with. And the early lead is already found for Ego Jungler. So off to a great start by himself. And did want to talk a little bit about the top lane, though, because you can already kind of see the difference there versus the Camille pick and the Yorick pick.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, Lawrence already forced to use 3 corrupting stacks, so that's not where you want to be right now. 3 minutes into the game. Hopefully he does. Oh no, he wouldn't have biscuits then, because he would have already gotten one by now. That's going to be a really rough lane here coming out from Lawrence.
Definitely harder than usual. Ego Jungler looks like visited the mid lane. Didn't get anything for his troubles, but a couple paddle stars to the back as he leaves. But definitely looking for that pressure in the mid lane, trying to make sure that Heike Savage can get going. And we saw what he's capable of when he had a few of those items down on the Syndra.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, right now, for Ego Jungler, he needs to continue to put pressure onto.
Oh, here we go. Set up a river bait here. Jurassic forced to dash away immediately. Doesn't have the flash still available. Is going to get out, but forced out of lane already. Very nice setup there.
Wait a minute, Winter.
Oh no, Winter, he is going to get knocked up. He is going to get hooked in, and he will go down. Pockets kills the cat yet again. Mirage commanding lead of this early game so far.
Dude, Pockets about to carry the game. Hyper trying to make something happen up here against Lawrence.
See the top side. The cleanse is going to come through, but there's the dark procession, and it will force flash out of Lawrence. So Hyper at least getting something back there on the top side of the map.
No, and I mean, now they just push the wave in. Lawrence does not have teleport. So that's pretty massive. Ezreal teleport going to come through here. Hyper just going to get the back off here. But again, looking really good right now for Mirage. And if he can get this bot lane into a good position, Infernal Dragon is up. That might be the Infernal going over to them if they can continue to push this lead in that bot lane.
Yeah, it could be a really big early game here for Mirage if they can keep it going. And we did also see the counter jungle come out of Ego Jungler. They knew that Hyper was on the top side, steal away those Krugs, make sure to get a bit of an experience lead here. And actually, if you look at here as well, Hawk is starting to walk his way towards the top side of the map, but Lawrence is going at it with Ethereals, and he will just take it. Did not expect that to happen, but the gangplank with the solo kill in what was Ethereals' counterpick.
Yeah, just very disrespectful coming here from Furious. I mean, he made the same mistake last game on the Camille, and now doing it again on the Yorick. Just very questionable plays as we see Hyper just trying to sneak the Infernal Dragon. This might not be the play.
Scouted out, forced to flash away immediately, and that will be Yuumi going down again. Winter gets killed, Ego Jungler is there, and I think that's just handing the Infernal Drake over to Mirage. Radiance tried too hard to get that early.
I don't really know what Radiance is doing here. They're trying to make so many plays that just wouldn't work here. I don't really understand. Maybe you can try to see what they're doing, because right now it just looks like they're putting themselves in worse and worse positions. Here it doesn't look any different.
Well, Lawrence caught out underneath the tower here, but Ethereals taking a bunch of damage, but Oranges will get him to safety, and he goes down. Ethereals dies again underneath the tower to Lawrence. Lawrence going to walk out with very little HP, but he took the kill, and Radiance overreaching everywhere.
Oh god, not again.
Focus gets the hook to the Arcane Shift.
My goodness, just disrespect, I think, is the word that we're looking for here to describe what Radiance is doing. I don't understand that, like, they're... Oh my god. The theory is just going in over and over and over again. I get it, it's the counter matchup, but now Lawrence is at 2-0. This is not what you want to be doing, and definitely not how you snowball any sort of lead, even if you have a CS.
Not looking so great, and especially going down 0-2 to the Gangplank. Remember, this was his counter pick as well. He said he knew the Gangplank was going to be there. He said, go ahead, give me the Yorick, we'll make it work. And so far has only succeeded in dying twice in 1v1 situations, mind. This hasn't been Ethereals getting ganked, so definitely going to have to be playing this careful. And if the split pusher doesn't get ahead, though, what else does he bring to the team?
Heike Savage is making his way upwards, going to be mid out. But oh no, not again.
Oh no, here we go. Jurassic takes a bunch of damage. Hyper is there to try and keep his bot lane alive. Exhaust goes through as well, but Meech is already level 6. Does blow the On the Hunt and gets themselves to safety. So Hyper only being able to get that ultimate here. And Catapult so far as well has not really had the laning experience that he needs in order to carry this game.
Yeah, no, down 11 CS. Basically 2 waves at this point. Not where you want to be. That's why we see such a level disparity here. Heike Savage putting in the work here. It's going to be the W cleanse coming out from Catapult. Get out of Scatter the Weak. This is most likely going to be the 3-man dive onto him.
Yeah, 3 members visit, but it looks
He's
like he's just out. Yeah, Catapult gets away, and instead looking for the blue steel. Hyper is there as well, though they will be scrapping for this golem, but here comes the Demacia. Ego Jungler locks up Hyper. Hyper is going to blow the depth charge he stole earlier, but Heike Savage over the wall. Looks like they will be able to take this kill, but here comes the
He
game.
lives?
Well, Heike Savage does take it, and now the hook. Focus is there. Catapult is all by himself, still sitting on the summoner spells, blows the heal, and gets himself to safety. But this is Mirage perfectly executing on this early game where they know they have a lead.
Yeah, no, you just have 4 people into that top side. I mean, at that point, that jungle isn't yours. That's a Sleepy Trouble Bubble. That's just half HP.
Yeah, it's going to take a bunch of damage here, and Radiance is going to want to try and scale this one out. Already 3,000 gold down. Meech getting a ton of gold for himself here on the off the tower plating.
I mean, right now, Mirage is just in a commanding lead. 3K up, 10 minutes in. This is not where you want to be if you're Radiance.
Not so much, but remember, we have been in a similar place to this before. Mirage did win the early game of Game 1 as well, and still ended up losing it, so can't count Radiance out quite yet.
It all depends about the mid game.
Actually, Flash is over. He is looking for the 1v1 play, but gets Ethereus' flash as well, and now is going to take a bunch of damage from the ghouls. Really trying to press that lead home.
Yeah, I mean, he has the blue buff now, so he has the opportunity to push his advantage now. Thing is, it really does depend how Radiance comes back in this. They have a CS lead in the top lane, but everywhere else, and they have a CS lead in the jungle. Everywhere else is down a substantial amount of CS. It's just adding on to this gold lead. Now, still at 3k. Hyper looking towards something in the top lane.
It does steal the cannon barrage, but I don't think they want to go for the dive on the gangplank. Doesn't have the flash, but Ethereus actually takes a bunch of tower shots. They're really trying to make sure they get underneath, get some of that tower plating for himself. Instead, it looks like this will be a focus from the mid lane here for Hyper. Heike Savage takes a big chunk here. Silas is around the corner if they want to go for something, but Pockus is in, and here comes Ego Jungler. The flashes are there. Pockus will try to get in, but the stopwatch is going to be blown. Cat Evolved surviving as the Purloin Cannon Barrage does come down. Pockus should be taken down. He throws off Anchor. No one is finishing him, though,
What?
and he gets out.
Not like this. Not like this. Don't tell me. Okay.
Pockus is gonna know. The flash is finally burned. Cat Evolved takes that and is able to finish off the kill. So Radiance finally get themselves on the board. That would have been heartbreaking if that Nautilus walks out.
I think that would have probably just, decided most of this early mid game if Cat Evolved did not get that kill. And it would have just demoralized them so much. See, Lauren's taking a lot of damage here. The Infernal Dragon is going to go over to the side of Radiance, though. So that's going to equal them out in Infernal Dragons, which does help Radiance out quite a bit. Even though Mirage has really late scaling, so does the side of Radiance with that Zoe damage, with the Silas, as we saw. His skirmishing just becomes insane as we continue later.
Yeah,
Barely missing.
Dashed away, of course, because the Ezreal so hard to lock down in that lane. Stay on top of the teleport as well, so even if he did take a chunk, we'll just be able to get back to lane quite quickly. But yeah, definitely Radiance finding a little bit back here. They were able to punish the overreach by taking that Infernal Dragon, so nicely done. But this Lawrence is visiting the top side. Ego Jungler roaming up as well, but this looks like Ethereus will be backing off and just giving over some pressure.
Yeah, no, I mean, we're just seeing... Oh, no.
Oh, no. The Silas is all by himself. He does get the immediate ultimate steal. He uses the stopwatch, but there should be no escape for him yet. He goes down. Meech takes that kill, but now final chapter on the backside. Pockus is going to take a bunch of damage, and he does go down. Jurassic picks that one up with a Mystic Shot over the wall. And now they will be trying to find something else in the jungle, but Mirage find nothing else but complete the red steal.
Yeah, and I mean, that's pretty big. Now you have Jurassic with that red buff. Even though you'd probably prefer it to be a blue buff at this point. So we're going to do quite a bit of damage here. Going to be able to sustain through anything that Meech wants to throw at him at this point. And that's going to be pretty massive. Right now, you have Jurassic down a level and Winter up a level on Pockus. So... gonna have to see if they're able to turn this into an advantage. Winter just getting a bit of poke damage, being that annoy cheeky Nico. That's why just barely missing.
Yeah, still trying to look for those hooks, but it's just so hard to make things happen. And Ethereus already getting this tower down to its last possible plating, so really starting to rebound, has a bunch of that plating going now to sort of balance things out with the Gangplank's kills, and working on that Trinity Force.
The question now becomes, do they try to get the tower in the bot lane? Hyper's up here, though.
Yeah, here we go. The Gangplank is going to try and get bopped out, and he will just take a bunch of damage. I think he's just committing to going down here. No, Ego Jungler is there. He's going to try and get the damage down. This is a Cataclysm stolen, though. Hyper's sitting on that ultimate. He goes for the flash, but there's nothing you can do. He's got one, too. And now Teleport is going to be channeled from the top side. Heike Savage does take the kill onto Hyper, but now he's between 3-4 enemies. The Yuumi comes all the way up as well, and the shutdown does go over to Ethereus. This should be first tower taken on the top side.
I don't know if it's that secure. Turret platings have fallen, and Meech is going to get to the tower before Ezreal Yuumi. So this might be the tower going over to the side of Mirage first here. He's very close. Yeah, there it is.
Wow, managed to pull it out just seconds beforehand, so Mirage are able to get at least something back.
Yeah, no, that's a big chunk of gold into the pocket of Meech. I mean, that's your main carry. That's the person that you want fed. But the thing is, Heike Savage is now sitting at 3-1. And even though Cat Evolved has been playing really well in this game, it doesn't really matter because, you know, when Syndra hits you with that unleashed power, you know, she's kind of doing the same thing that you do to other people. Just gonna one-shot you.
Yeah, can't dodge out on that, unfortunately. So definitely looking to have some powerful performance out of their carries this time around, and that was Rift Herald did go the way of Radiance, so they have another way in order to continually open the map up and get that additional gold going.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, right now, the next objectives are those mid towers. You really want... Oh, hyper. Getting a bit hyper there, just barely dodging out of the dredge line. But yes, with that Rift Herald secured for the side of Radiance here, they really do want to get that mid tower going. Or maybe even the bot tower here that they do have the Yorick split pushing. And if he can go towards that T2 tower, they can definitely open up the map with the T1 with the amount of pressure that he's going to draw towards that top side.
Theories is gonna get the wave in, but back off as the dragon is spawning soon. Infernal Drake coming up. Neither team wants to give this up as this is the third of the game, so whoever gets it will have just permanent damage advantage over their opponent. Lawrence, though, in the top side, he doesn't have teleport quite yet.
He does have the Cannon Barrage, however, so he will still be making an impact. He is walking down. It's not going to be the worst of times for the side of Mirage. They still do have a gold lead, sitting at about 2,000. But the thing is, they were sitting at 3, and now Radiance is pulling it back. It's going to be the Rift Herald in the mid lane, trying to force something here.
Yeah, as actually, here we go. Final chapter is going to be burnt a big root, but this is going to be a ton of AoE going down. Lots of flashes out. No one is dead quite yet. Hyper takes a ton of damage. He is not stunned by the Scatter of the Weak here. And both of these teams are going to back away from each other, blinking health bars, but no one is dead yet. Pockets is going to get caught out. Fury's trying to walk away. Ridgeline is going to force him out. And now this is going to be positioning lost on the Dragon. Heike Savage trying to trade back to force the flash away here. And a ton of damage. Cat Evolved has gone in, but has not gotten anybody quite yet. Hyper is going to land the stun. He's trying to get some more damage down, but he might be going down himself. Heike Savage finally takes the first kill of the fight. Meech flashes the wall. He kills Jurassic. Now Winner forces dash away to safety. Cat Evolved looking for the trade kill in the back, but he might have been off more than he can chew. He goes down, but takes the gangplank with him. The Yumi finishes someone else on the backside. All these low health bars starting to turn into 0 health bars, and actually, Cat Evolved did escape with his life, so...
Oh no, not like this.
And now the Drowsy onto the Jarvan. You have to body block. Pocket sacrifices himself for his jungler, and Eagle Jungler tries to trade back, but there's nothing he can do. Radiance get the outfight and the outplay in that extended trade.
Just Cat Evolved things. Flashes over the wall, gets the kill onto Meech with the auto attacks, then flashes again, gets the empowered auto attacks again, gets the paddle star, picks up the second kill onto Pawkus, and then not onto Pawkus, onto Heike Savage. And then the thing is, he hits the Sleepy Trouble Bubble onto Eagle Jungler. Pawkus is forced to eat the paddle star, which brings him down to no HP, and Cat Evolved can just auto to get the kills. It's just terrible to see that happen for the side of Mirage, but if you're rooting for Radiance, now they've equaled up the gold and now have taken a lead even.
Yeah, a huge turnaround for Radiance. They were getting beat in lane, but all of a sudden, that was the single fight they needed. They take the ace, they take the Infernal Dragon, and looking in a very good spot now. Mirage not quite out yet, but they will be looking to make something else happen on the map as they were punished quite severely in that play.
Yeah, no, on top of that, they lose the Infernal Drag as well, which is, you know, probably the worst thing that can happen out of all of that. So right now, the biggest thing for them is, you know, trying to get picks onto, say, the Yumi, maybe onto Cat Evolve. If they can get a pick onto the Zoe, that might be their way back in.
Yeah, here we go. Ethereus goes underneath the tower once more, takes a couple shots, but doesn't go down quite yet. Actually, here we go. The Nautilus gets blown up, and now the final chapter roots up. Meech, he dies. Jurassic kicks that one. 2 picks in the mid lane. Radiance not sleeping on this lead.
I mean, speaking of getting picks, that's just what you want to see. Lawrence,
Lawrence very low. Cannon Barrage is going to be using Ethereus. I don't think it has the damage to finish it off underneath the tower. The Maiden is trying to finish things out. Corrupting Pot keeps him alive for just a little bit longer, and Ethereus looks like is going to be forced to back away. He doesn't get the kill on the gangplank. He might actually be dead. Hyper trying to make sure his top laner can get to safety here, trading with the jungler. Ego Jungler, though, will walk away, and they get out.
It's just going to be the mid tower going over. Drowsy does hit.
Drowsy connects, looking for the pick. Ego Jungler barely getting through. He's trying to survive. A flash forward from Jurassic gets him the kill, but has he been on more than he can shoot? Depth charge comes out onto Catavolved, and Catavolved gets shut down. Now teleport through from Meech. Not sitting on top of on the hunt, so can't quite run them down, but they are trying to get a pick onto these members who are staying in the jungle.
I know that's a big shutdown on to High Key Savage here. They're able just to walk out, but that's a lot of gold in the pocket.
Oh no, Lawrence is seen. Hyper is going to try and go in, but misses the Epscon. Huge damage from the Ezreal True Shot Mirage, but Mirage can't get anything back.
Change just barely missing there. If you would have hit those, that would have probably been a dead Lawrence here. That's most likely just going to be the bot T1 falling. And now Radiance is starting to take advantage and starting to take this lead. I mean, Mirage right now, you need to start to stabilize this game. You had a 3,000 gold lead, and now you're down almost 2K.
Yeah, I'm starting to see that in the item break points as well. Just one item complete across the board here for Mirage. Really looking to try and hit those power spikes, but if you look at their opposing numbers, really starting to get that 2-item power spike. The Ezreal sitting on top of the Muramana and the Iceborne Gauntlet, really laying down some damage.
Oh, we love low economy builds coming out from Ezreal. Super fun to deal with.
He's taking some damage. Ethereum is really moving forward as here they go. The Sivers chunked down to nothing. Pockets dies for the final chapter, and the Ezreal damage. That's a pick. That's a chunk member. And everything is looking so good here for Radiance.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, is it... Don't tell me we're going to have another, like, Baron bait fight. That, if we do, it's going to be so tragic. That's the teleport coming in from Arthurius. And Mirage comes out.
Baron has been started. Barrage will try to force them up, and Ethereus is keeping it going. Catavolve looking around on the side for any degree of hit. They will lock up the Jarvan here. Lawrence is there, though. He will get some damage on the Catavolve, who has no way out. Still sitting on top of the flash, but they're trading it back. Lawrence is going to go down instead, and now looking for Meech, who's forced to run away. They kill him off the Baron, but they do lose one.
Yeah, no, and that's a big member. He's already at that Trinity Force, having that Caulfield's Warhammer as well. They might just go on to Arthurius here.
Ego Jungler around the side here. They are going to get the hook in, and he is going down. Can't find the Cataclysm quite yet. The damage is traded back. A good Zhonya's. This will be the shutdown, but their High Key Savage dies on the backside. Cannonball picking that one up, and now they're using that Purloin ultimate. That will be Meech dying, and final chapter's back off cooldown. Another root lands on the Pocket. Pocket is forced to flash away. They get the damage down from the Prowling Projectile. Here goes Jarvan the Fourth. Another Zhonya's Hourglass keeps Hyper alive. Nautilus dies. Flashes burn across the map. A shutdown picked up, and Radiance running away with this game.
Yeah, they got the ace there. Fortunately, Arthurius did die because of the Ricochet coming back, hitting Catavolve, and, you know, just barely, just tapping him a little bit. Radiance now taking a dominating lead, almost setting that to 4K at this point. This is just a disgusting game coming out from them. They were down so much in the early game, but they exploited every single mistake that Mirage has made so far and are kind of just making this game look easy right now. Pocus just getting caught out over and over and over again. Same thing with Ego Jungler, and it's just resulting in them falling here and this gold lead expanding out even more.
And I do want to highlight as well the Zhonya's Hourglasses. Both of them on Hyper and Catavolve so big in that fight, keeping Mirage from getting any of the picks they're looking for, from fragging out in those fights, because all of a sudden you can't get the kill into Catavolve, you can't get the kill into Hyper, and that is enough of an edge to allow Radiance to keep out fighting. So a terrifying position to be in if you are Mirage and you need to win this game to keep your playoff hopes alive.
And then here's the thing, all the spotlight is on Catavolve. They use everything towards him, but then the thing is, you also have Jurassic, who's sitting at 6-1 and 5. Sitting at 3 items, most items in the game right now. He is, you know, a disgusting animal right now. High Key Savage forced to flash immediately. This might be the team fight.
As here they go, this is going to be the final chapter around the side. They get the root onto 3 members here, trying to get the rest of the damage down. Barrage in order to try and break up the fight, but High Key Savage dies on the backside to Catavolve. Pockets is all by himself. He goes down. There goes Meech. Lawrence is going to be taken down by Ethereus, looking for one more last ride. Ego Jungler caught out. The 3rd ace of the game picked up for Radiance,
That's going to be Baron.
that has to be Baron.
I mean, there's just nothing that Mirage can do. They stayed in the choke point next to the blue buff and just got collapsed on. They basically just blitzkrieged that. They came in with the two-pronged attack and just completely destroyed that. There is just nothing that could be done there. And, you know, Meech gets caught out. High Key Savage gets caught out. Forced to flash immediately. Ego Jungler gets caught out. Focus again gets caught out. And it's just game over from there. Baron taken. 7k gold lead. This is just not where you want to be if you are Mirage, trying to keep your hopes alive.
Yeah, Mirage is going to have to play the waiting game and the wave clear game if they want to be able to come back into this. But tell me, Sordo, how likely is that, given how well we've seen Radiance play?
It's almost none. There's a reason that Radiance is that top tier team, the best team in Amateur. There's only one team that has ever beaten Radiance, and that goes to Supernova. So Mirage already knew that they were at a disadvantage. The thing that's so demoralizing is the fact that they had a lead. And it's not like it was a little lead. It's not like it was 1,000 gold. They had a 4,000 gold lead in both games and have now thrown them in both.
Yes, here we go again. Lawrence actually does juke on the Abscond, but he doesn't juke on the Speedy Trouble Bubble. They're trying to trade the damage back on the Hyper. He is going to use that Zony's Hourglass in order to keep himself alive for a little bit longer here. Ego Jungler still in the front line. Hyper, though, gets a huge amount of healing. He does survive. Now trying to dash back in. Look to see if they can't find another pick. Furies continuing to split push on the top side of the map. Mirage look for something and get nothing.
Oh my goodness, that's going to be most likely the inhibitor falling in the top side. You don't have Ego Jungler for another 20 seconds, so that's a lot of your engage down. Sleepy Trouble Bubble hits. Focus, you're not really that tanky. High Key Savage just dies.
Yeah, trapped under the tower. This is going to be 2 kills straight across the map. Meech now trying to run away, but there's nowhere for him to go. He goes down. That is another ace picked up here for Radiance, and this has to be the game. Radiance have shown that they are the best team, and this is exactly why they take a clean 2-0 over Mirage.
And no, it's Cat Evolve into 4 wards. Omega lol. Not really. This game was completely a team effort. Yes, they focused Cat Evolve a lot, but I mean, just look at Jurassic. 8, 1, 11. Disgusting amounts of damage coming out from him. Take a look at it in a second. Yeah, 20k damage coming out from Jurassic here. And you know, if you want to be told about why this game went just so poorly, you look at the Yuumi damage. Has 9k. The thing is, she did more damage than the enemy jungler, did more damage than the enemy support, and almost did more damage than the Syndra. This game just went from so good from the side of Mirage into nothing. You know, last game, it was, you know, a slow collapse. This game, it went from peak to just crash in a heartbeat.
That Infernal Dragon fight was the big turning point. That's where Radiance was really able to turn it on and get things done. And after that, once Radiance has the lead, they are rarely going to get rid of it. They have shown the ability to hold on to that and just strangle teams out. And it's exactly what happened to Mirage. They weren't able to maintain that early game lead, and they do go down despite having the run back composition. They said, we're fine with these champions. Give us one more shot and we'll win. And they looked good, but weren't able to close it out at the end of the day. So congratulations to Radiance. They will be moving on to these semi-finals. So nicely done. And that is going to be it for us tonight on the cast. Thank you all so very much for watching. From all of us here on the broadcasting desk, as well as at Upsurge, thank you all for tuning in, and have a great night.